my fellow Africans and people of goodwill, people, great continent of Africa. I'm here, your host, Reverend Dr. Maria Ray Joseph, in the matters of African concept. And in these matters of African concept, we need to deal more with African issues and we need to think more on the African perspective. In my intro, I want to discuss a little bit on why Africa is important. Africa is a very blessed continent and harvests more resources than any other continent of the world. We all know that Africa itself is a source of raw materials for other nations, for the first world countries and the second world countries. And because Africa has been endowed with the resources. However, Africa has bowed down to poverty and imbalance resources which are not mobilized well. Human resources and human management is not well done, and resource utilization and conservation all are not well done. Africa also possesses diverse forms of faith, myths, and customs. Some of these are or they develop Africa development and limit human resources in advancing in technologies, exploits, and sustainable economic triads. We have bowed down much to our former colonists and ran off affairs as copycats for the same colonialists. We are not independent in making radical decisions that would emerge huge and explicit development arenas in Africa and make the Africa lead the way. In matters of peace, Africa has fallen short of sustaining it, and conflicts and instabilities makers cripple in building sustainable wealth, mobilizing resources, boosting human resources, and packaging our gains. In this regard, Africa needs to have home-made solutions to problems and in acquisition of justice to our people. We still follow our colonizer system of justice seeking, and in most cases, we end up with injustices, all unjustifiable results. Due to this, people tend to repay back evil for evil, and thus a breach of peace. In this program of African concept, we shall build Africa by engaging African ideas, preparing these ideas into workable projects, engaging our African eminent people, leaders, and all who make it work, and pioneer for effective engagement in constructing sustainable African synergies. We will check economic trials that are reasonable for resource mobilization, saving, and endowment, so that Africa can be accessing funding from African source and reduce bowing down to the former colonialists for funding. Please join us in this word of dialogues. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Joseph Maria Ray.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work. Your documents, your chats, your whiteboards, your projects. The value